Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Planetary Reviews, and we are here to review The Fate of the Furious. Now, I was a really big fan of this series back when it was mostly just about street racing with like the Fast and Furious 1 and Tokyo Drift. Those are my two favorite Fast and Furious movies. They were about racing, they were about the cars, and I really loved those films, and they were awesome. But as the series went on, it just started being about heist, big budget action, craziness. And that kind of turned me off because that's not what I would go see a Fast and Furious movie for. Granted, the last one that came out, Furious 7, was very good in my opinion. Granted, it was still a big budget, dumb popcorn flick, but it had heart to it because they were paying tribute to the late Paul Walker. May he rest in peace. Great actor. He was a great member of that cast. You could tell he loved filming these movies. So it was very touching the way they ended the last one. So, in my opinion, that was the way it should have ended. It should have ended like that. Have your franchise end on a really big high note and also a touching note by paying tribute to Paul Walker. And there you go. But they decided to make another one, and I went into this movie very skeptical. I was not looking forward to watching this movie. I just don't know. I just was not into it. But let's talk about it before I give you my opinion just right off the bat. The story of this movie is that Dom just found out that this big bad chick, she's a hacker, she has a lot of skills and she's smart. She has some stuff on him, some dirt, and she makes him end up turning on his family. And as we all know, Dom is all about the family. But he has to turn on them because she got dirt. And he ends up having to do some pretty terrible things for her to try and help her take over the world, which is stealing a bunch of big weapons of mass destruction. And she has a goal, but in my opinion, it isn't really clear as to what her goal is. The movie didn't really portray that very well to me. I was sitting there very confused. Like, I was like, alright, are you trying to start a war? Are you what's the end goal here? I don't understand. Story was a little when it came to her reasoning for what she was doing. I didn't understand what she was doing. I just thought she was trying to start a war. Perhaps there was something else she was trying to do, but that's what I got from the movie. But everything else about the movie, the reasoning as the dirt that she has on Dom, really gives this movie real stakes, which is something I was surprised about. I sat there and I was like, wow, this really does make this feel very intense. What's going on? There's really something important that is at stake here, and that was something that was very surprising to me. And all the performances in this movie, by the way, were all very good. A lot of charisma, as we all know, from The Rock, Michelle Rodriguez. Everyone in this movie had great performances. They knew what kind of movie they were in. They knew they were in a big action movie with cars blowing up and crazy stuff happening on screen. They knew it, but so you could tell they were having fun, and they also were trying to give some emotion in this movie. They really wanted to show, like, yeah, there's a big budget action film, but it has heart to it. And that's really good. But the really important thing is that it didn't take itself super seriously. When a big franchise like this, that's always about big budget action and things blowing up, when it starts to get over serious, that's when a movie could really fail. But this movie didn't take itself very seriously. It got serious a little bit when it had to, but then after that it was just crazy over the top action. Like, for example, granted, it was all filmed very well. All the action scenes in here were filmed very well in my opinion. A couple melee combat scenes were a little iffy. I couldn't tell exactly what was going on in them, but overall the fights in this movie and the action were filmed very well. I like that. The thing that I had a problem with was these guys look like superheroes at this point. These guys go through some crazy shit and they just somehow walk out of this. And there's like, yeah, whatever. The things that The Rock does in this movie, I love The Rock as much as the next guy. The Rock is awesome. He's charismatic. He really just takes control when he's on camera, and I love that about the guy. But man, some of the stuff they were making him do in this movie, I was just like, no, you don't have superpowers. What? How are you? No. I don't care how strong, no. There were some of those moments in this movie where I was just like, it took me out of it, where I was like, nah, man, nah. No one's doing that, bro. No one is doing that. But other than that, with the action, it was very well done. It was adrenaline pumping. You were like, oh man, what's going to happen next? That was a crazy scene. And every scene in this movie went more and more over the top when it came to crazy stuff that happened. As you saw in the trailer, you saw that submarine pop out of the ice and stuff like that, which was very cool. It all looked great. This is eye candy and just a popcorn eating, go crazy, turn off the brain, and just watch crazy stuff happen on screen with some plot in the background that will make you have a connection to these characters. Because obviously this franchise has been around for a long time. So any of the big fans of this movie are going to feel that connection immediately. They're going to love this movie because they're just seeing their favorite group of guys and gals going crazy, doing crazy stuff, saving the world from utter destruction with awesome looking cars and some sexy women, and there you go. That's pretty much how this movie went, with a little bit of added heart thanks to the reasoning behind why Dom had to turn against him. That really gave the movie some heart to it, and I really enjoyed that. And I gotta say, the opening in this movie really got me going because the opening really felt like just what Fast and the Furious was about. The opening in this movie was very strong because it was about... I don't think it's going to be too much of a spoiler. Minor spoiler warning, the opening of this movie has a great race. It's awesome. It's Fast and Furious. It's the reason why I started watching this franchise in the first place. Cars going fast, doing crazy stuff. It got a little bit too crazy at the end of it, but it was still very good. I liked that opening. I was like, yes, this is what this franchise was about initially and what made me love it so much. Then the movie went on to be about what was going on with Dom and everything like that. Overall, The Fate of the Furious, I went into it with very low expectations. I was expecting this movie to not be that good, not keep me interested. I didn't feel like they could top the amount of heart that they had in the last movie. I felt like that last movie should have been the end of it. But this movie surprised me. Was it anything that made me go, holy crap, this was the greatest action movie ever? No, it didn't do anything like that. But my expectations were very low, and they exceeded it by a good amount. I sat there and I was like, wow, I actually had a good time. I was laughing thanks to the performance of Tyrese Gibson. He was great. All the cast was great during those funny moments. They really know how to quip off each other and make it feel lighthearted while also being intense, while also having a good plot to go with it. So, at the end of the day, this was a crazy action movie with over-the-top goodness. The Rock being The Rock and being awesome. Jason Statham being a badass as always. Vin Diesel being awesome. Michelle Rodriguez being awesome. The entire cast having moments here and there. And some pretty women and some beautiful looking cars just going nuts. And a lot of craziness going on. Just over-the-topness that if you're a fan of this franchise, you're going to like. So you know what? It did that job. But it didn't break any records. It didn't do anything too crazy. It didn't really take anything the next step. It just did what it had to do to be fun and just another one of the Fast movies that Fast fans are gonna like. So, at the end of the day, The Fate of the Furious gets a solid C+. It didn't change anything. It didn't make me go, oh my god. But I was smiling. I was having a good time. It just didn't do anything crazy, and it wasn't a very deep movie with anything that stood out too much. But it was still a solid Fast movie. If you're a fan of this franchise, you're gonna go out there and see it. You're gonna love it. If you're not a fan, skip out on it. You're not missing out on anything. It didn't break anything. It didn't break any records, like I said. It didn't do anything too extraordinary. So if you missed out on it, you missed out on it. Like I said, I personally had a fun time. I was just eating popcorn, just going, that was cool, that was funny, here and there. But it wasn't anything too crazy. It wasn't anything that impressed me too much. So like I said, at the end of the day, Fate of the Furious gets a C+ from me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for watching my previous videos that I've done this week. It was a pretty crazy week. We had some trailers dropping. Then I had to do this, go see this movie. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content I've been doing lately. Trying to bring out more to you guys. And I'm really glad that you guys are just watching it and having a good time, because I like doing this. I love doing this. So, yeah, guys, thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Tell me what you guys thought of Fate of the Furious. If you are a Furious fan, definitely let me know what you thought of this movie. I want to know if you guys liked this. Did it make you happy? Did you feel really good after you walked out of the theater? I want to know what you guys think, because I'm really curious as a person who only liked back when they were about just straight up street racing. So yeah, that's enough for me, guys. I don't want to ramble too much longer, but as always, guys, have a great day.